Hello, fellow Star Warriors. May the Force be with you. We are watching episode 4 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Watching with me, of course, is my little baby girl Gogu, aka Advitya, and of course, Dr. Darth Vader and Master Blaster Yoda. Sachin Tendulkar should not take offense because Yoda in himself is a great teacher in the Star Wars universe, and I'm sure Sachin will be a great mentor to many cricketers as well, starting with his own son Arjun Tendulkar, who will be playing, or maybe not, for the Mumbai Indians in the IPL this season as well. If you're not from India, discard that last 10 seconds, but I'm sure almost that you might have heard the name Sachin Tendulkar somewhere. Alright, moving on from cricket and into the Star Wars universe, it's time to go the way. Alright, let's get this episode started, shall we? And here is my little star warrior, Advitya, aka Gogu, not to be mistaken with Grogu. Yoda will be offended if you do that because they are very different species. Alright, so this human star warrior is well fed and probably going to sleep while we watch the episode. But what won't sleep is the way of the Mandalore. The recap of this episode 20, oh my apologies, chapter 20 has once again touched upon the way of the Mandalore and how Din Djarin, our Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal of course, who is in hot currency right now, like Bryan Cranston was a few years ago because of Breaking Bad, and like John Hamm was because of Mad Men. AMC really hit it out of the park with those two shows. I mean, if you haven't watched Breaking Bad and Mad Men, well, are you a bad mad man or woman? But kidding apart about other pop culture franchises, I will say that Star Wars has actually expanded really nicely. Andor was pretty good, as my good friend AG, who I visited on Saturday, proclaimed. So, because of its Viva la Revolution sort of theme, it resonated with even those people who haven't watched Star Wars in its entirety, which is a huge ask for a new for a person who is new to the franchise to do, because by now the sheer amount of content is rivaling that of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, of which I am also a fan. So Excelsior, fellow Marvelers as well, and DC Comics. Now, since we've mentioned Star Wars and Marvel, we might as well go for DC Comics, shouldn't we? So in DC Comics, not her, because Doom Patrol and Peacemaker are not at all safe for either work or kids or your general mental well-being. But I like Peacemaker and Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol a little more. Peacemaker, let's see what the second season does. Doom Patrol, I want the season 5 to be greenlit and be made because season 4 ended on a cliffhanger. So yeah, enough about other media franchises. Let's get back to the Star Wars Mandalorian. This is the way. Alright, so finally we get the name of the chapter in the episode, of course. It's called The Foundling. So the Foundling is of course Grogu, and in the setup or in the lead up to this chapter title reveal, Mando has pitted Grogu against one of the other apprentices or the children who are learning to fight in the Mandalorian way. And Grogu just pulls off an amazing somersault over his opponent, back somersault to confuse him, and then fires 3 darts with the right hand, but I'm supporting Grogu with that. So, and wins the round. So, I guess it just goes to show that Grogu has started to remember some of the powers he has that he was taught on the planet Coruscant, which is kind of the capital of the galaxy in which Star Wars is set. He was in the Jedi Temple there, but he was taken and hidden when Order 66 was executed. So Star Wars fans will know that that was the order to kill the Jedi. But if you're not a Star Warrior yet, then that is a good place to start. Oh, also, and I might add that I do recommend The Bad Batch, which is an animated series about a group of 5, 6 clones who go rogue. So, not to be confused with Rogue One, a Star Wars story, but that is a great animated series for kids and I guess for adults with kiddish imaginations alike. Alright, imagination is extremely important. We got to inculcate it in our next generation so that they use technology better to make our lives better. Alright, so enough of that. And if I start on my space exploration tangent, then I might just not stop, and this chapter 20 will just stay on pause forever, relatively. So I will get on with the episode, but not before saying that the 5 planets that aligned along with the sun and moon in the evening was awesomax. Of course, I watched it digitally and I have made a short about that. So you can check out my YouTube shorts, and I might take this opportunity to say, smash that sub button for awesomax fun. Let's get on with The Mandalorian. Not even halfway through, and this episode is already one of my favorites of the entire Mandalorian series, because I think we have seen Samuel L. Jackson's character. Sorry about that, but Samuel L. Jackson is not going to be appearing as Mace Windu, but I think that this is his young version that we are seeing here, escaping with Grogu from the Jedi Temple at Coruscant. So I can't believe that what I was talking about without foreknowledge has actually come to pass, and we will see how Grogu became the Foundling, which is another thing. I thought the Foundling only refers to Grogu in this episode, but the Foundling is the kid Mandalorian who has been snatched up by a dragon and taken to its lair, and so that's the rescue mission that will be going on in the episode while this flashback happens. A little bit of disappointment. It is, after all, not Mace Windu, but a new character called Kelleran Beck, and maybe that's a callback to some other character. And also, they, while escaping from the stormtroopers, they emerge from a platform that is right at MRT, the mountain that is supposedly the highest mountain on Coruscant, and only the peak is visible. So imagine if that was the case with Everest, hundreds of thousands of years down the line. So that had cropped up in the previous episode as well, and cropped up literally. But Dr. Pershig was basically tricked into handing over his cloning technology to an ex-imperial officer, of course, now. So let's see what the second half of this episode brings. Meanwhile, as the rescue mission is going on, we see that the Mandalorians eat out of sight of one another so that they can take off their helmets. And Bo-Katan Kryze, but I actually prefer my pronunciation, Kryze. Bo-Katan Kryze gets the honor of staying by the fire, taking off her helmet and eating her food, because she is the leader of the rescue party or the war party, as Vizsla puts it. Also, the little tiffin boxes that they give out remind me of the very thin, I guess they were tin boxes that we used to see children carrying around when we were kids. So especially in Bihar and all, but I guess in Delhi also it was pretty prevalent, and maybe in other parts of India. So it's nice to have a throwback like that. And now when the search party or the rescue party is climbing over a sheer cliff wall, it reminds me of 2 things that I saw. One is Free Solo, which is that Oscar-winning documentary about free climbing, I think. And the second is a Hindi movie called Lakshya, in which the Indian Army sends commandos to capture a point in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, or rather during the Kargil war, or some sort of a combat theater like that, in which the group of commandos has to climb a wall like this, and that too in freezing conditions. So that is obviously inspired by true stories, and on this tangent I will say salute to the Indian Army and to the Indian Armed Forces. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Okay, let's get on with The Mandalorian. This is the way. Alright, so after a fun and frantic flying fight with the flying reptile that had kidnapped the young Mandalorian or the Foundling, they are back to their camp and they are greeted with cheers and this clanking of their armor, which is suspiciously a lot like the Wakanda Forever sign. And I'm not complaining because, like I told you earlier in the video, I am a Marveler as well. So Excelsior to that, this is the way. And I guess we are coming around to the end of the episode. Grogu the Foundling has been given a chestplate armor by the armorer, whose character I find very fascinating. And the Mando pack is back with the kidnapped kid. We saw a bit of Grogu's flashback about his escape from the Jedi Temple on Coruscant as well. En route, he did skid through Emate, the highest peak on Coruscant. Only the peak is visible. So after that recap, I guess if there's anything more left for me to add to this review and reaction video, I will do that. And I will repeat, smash that sub button for awesomax fun. This is the way, and may the force be with you. Alright. If there are any if there are any postscript notes coming right up right now.